Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Blogging for Business webinar. You are in the right place. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we've got a really exciting session for you. We're going to be together here for an hour, and it's going to have lots of information. So right now is a great time to get a pen and paper handy, as you will get a lot of chances to ask questions throughout the session, and you'll want to take down some notes. All right. So welcome, my name is Danielle Hofer and I am the Training and Outreach Officer at Women's Enterprise Center. Part of the role in training is listening to our clients and figuring out what kind of topics we should be covering. So I encourage you to reach out back to me after the session and let us know what kind of topics you'd like us to cover. There will be a survey and that would be the perfect place to share that information. So how do we make the most out of this 1 hour together? So we have both the Q&A function, so question and answer, and also the chat box. Already the chat box has been really lively. We've heard from people where they're from all over the province, and that's a great place for you to chat with other people. You can choose whether or not you're sending a message to a panelist directly or to all attendees and panelists. So that's up to you, the way you want to interact. If you would like to ask us a question and make sure that we get to that question, my recommendation is for you to use the Q&A function. That way I can pause, we can see exactly what those questions are, and it won't get lost in that chat. So that's my recommendation for you. All of the instructions are down at the bottom of your Zoom screen, so you should be able to access that. Okay. Let me get to my next slide here. All right, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Women's Enterprise Center. Women's Enterprise Center is a not-for-profit organization devoted to helping BC women start, lead, and grow their own businesses. Our full range of services includes a business loan program with up to $150,000, with an additional $100,000 through a new partnership with BDC. We also provide business advice, skills training, mentoring, and I will mention that our mentoring program is just open this week for a one-to-one mentoring program. So if you're an existing woman business owner in your first 1 to 5 years of operations, I really encourage you to apply for our one-to-one program. We also provide resources and now more than ever, a supportive community to help women entrepreneurs realize their business potential. And we do this usually through our 3 offices across the province, which is in Kelowna, Vancouver, and in Victoria. But these days, we are actually representing over 20 communities as we work from home. Our passion is to empower entrepreneurs to their business success. And we are funded by a federal government program through Western Economic Diversification Canada, which is part of the Women's Enterprise Initiative. And that includes similar organizations in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And you can learn more about Women's Enterprise Center at our website, which is wec.ca. So now the reason why we're here, on to today's session. How great would it be to have all your ideal clients fall into your lap? For this to happen, you need to be known as an expert in your niche. To become this expert, blogging your expertise is one of the most authentic and least salesy way to do this. In today's session, Ashley WriterGal Doan of WriterGal Marketing is going to share a blogging for business process that is both easy to follow and execute, even for the most unskilled writer or busiest business owner. Today, you will walk away feeling prepared with the easy to follow up 5-step process to plan, execute, and promote your blog. You'll be confident with the tools and resources to brainstorm topics that people actually want to read. And you will be ready with the tools to overcome writer's block. So to answer your questions today, our panelist is Ashley Doan. Ashley inspires entrepreneurs to take action through humor and authenticity. Through her business, WriterGal Marketing, she helps entrepreneurs use content marketing to become trusted niche experts so that their dream high-paying clients fall right into their lap. Her specialties include writing blog articles, SEO, which is search engine optimization, web content, and social media posts. Ashley's also an award-winning business owner, international best-selling author, and acclaimed speaker. And she is the host of Content Marketing Matters podcast and blog. Oh, I love podcasts these days. I can't wait to listen to that. She's also a mother of crazy toddlers and has a crazy addiction for coffee. I can relate to you there. You can also invite her for a coffee at our website, which is writergal.ca. Ashley, thank you so much for being here today. I'll let you take it over in just one moment, but I would like to take this time to also introduce Alpana Sharma. She is a business advisor at Women's Enterprise Center, and she's also the one on our team that manages our blog. We have a very active blog on our website, and it's Alpana who manages that and vets the blogs that come in from guests and our staff team that write the blogs. So Alpana will be able to share her knowledge and expertise. And also, in addition to her role at Women's Enterprise Center, she is a woman business owner, so she can speak to that perspective as well. So it is my absolute pleasure to have you both as a panelist today. I will stop sharing my screen. So Ashley, you can take over and share yours. Here we go.
Thanks, Danielle.
Sounds great. Thank you. Okay. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, let me move this over here. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for the amazing introduction, Danielle. I really appreciate it. I'm glad I've connected with you guys to provide this workshop today, because right now, I mean, we booked this workshop months ago, but now is more important than ever to be blogging for your business. So many of us are stuck at home with toddlers, with significant others, and we have time to learn about it. So I'm very appreciative that everyone's taken this time today, that they've dedicated this hour to spend with us. I hope we're going to have some fun. I'm going to teach you so much stuff. So make sure that your pen is ready. Make sure you got lots of paper, take some good notes, because there is some amazing tidbits in here that you'll be able to start with right away at 11 o'clock, 11:15, whenever we're done here today. So blogging to promote your business. Blogging is a marketing tool. I always say it's a marketing tool. It's a sales tool, but it's the best way to not be salesy. I don't know about you guys, but I hate being pitched to. I hate somebody selling to me. It just feels icky. I hate doing it to others. I prefer showing people my knowledge, showing them that I am the blogging expert, so that they come to me saying, Ashley, I need to hire you. I need to work with you. I need to take your programs. So that is the point of blogging today. And that's the perspective that I'm taking. So very briefly, I want to show a few reasons why you should be blogging for your business. And blogging works for any business that you have. If you know something, if you're an expert in something, you can have a blog for your business. Blogging is one of the greatest ways to show your expertise. So I know that I'm not the only copywriter in BC, in the world, in New Westminster, where I am right now. But the way I market my business is I show that expertise, why I'm better than the competition. That's one of the great things about blogging. Blogging also provides value. You know, people want valuable information, and more importantly, they want free valuable information, right? So blogging, you don't charge people to read your blog, you're just providing value. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in today's session as well. It's another great way to increase visitors to your website, which we'll talk about today as well. You know, people will come to your site, they'll visit your services page, your About Us page. But if you really want to drive more traffic to your site, a blog is a great way to do that. And I'll show you how to do that today. Blogging is also a great way to keep people on your site longer, because we know as marketers that the longer you can engage somebody with your brand, with your business, the more they learn about you, the more they learn to know, like, and trust you, and then eventually buy from you. So the longer you can engage people, the better, and blogging will help you do that. It also gives your site some SEO love, which is search engine optimization. I think I've got one slide on that today, very brief, high level, about how you can use search engine optimization in a very easy way to drive people from Google to your website. So before I go into all of this, let me briefly share a little bit about who the heck is WriterGal. So this crazy gal is WriterGal. So all of my life, I've been that type A overachiever, you know, president of the student council, editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, drama club. I've been everything. And I've always wanted to do everything. I've got a lot of aspirations in my life, a lot of things I want to do, but I know that I can't do them all unless I am organized. I've also got 2 kids, a dog, a husband. You know, I have to manage all of these different things. And the only way I can do that is by finding processes to make it simple, to make it easy to follow, so that I don't, you know, do something for a month and then stop it. So I sort of take that drive, that success, that need to want to do everything, which I'm sure as entrepreneurs you might relate to in your business. I take that, and everything I teach in this course, in my other in-person courses, in my programs, in my one-on-one sessions, everything is easy. I show you the easy way to do it. So let's get right into this. I'm going to show you some basics of blogging just so you have sort of a background and a foundation before we get into some of the more specifics. So I hinted at this earlier. There's a formula to making a sale. And this is what that formula is. You're going to want to write this down. Know plus like plus trust equals a conversion. So first of all, people need to know that you are out there. So you need to show them that you're there. You need to be present. You need to be online. You need to be blogging, social media, whatever that is. Secondly, people need to like you. You know, you're not the only writer, essential oils rep, tour rep, coach. You know, there's millions of you out there. You need to get people to like you, or they're going to go to someone else that they do like. Because I'm only going to do business with people that I like. You know, we're all the same way. And also they need to trust you. They need to trust that you are the expert that you're claiming to be. And they just need to trust that you're going to provide them with whatever products and services you promise. So once you can get your client, your customer to know you, to like you, and to trust you, you're like 90% of the way there, if not 100%, into converting them into a paying customer. Or if you don't sell products, converting them to your message. It's that simple. So to do that, to build up that know, like, and trust, blogging is one of the best ways to do that. And I've put together this 5-step blogging process to make it easy, to make it manageable. Even if you are a super busy entrepreneur with 2 toddlers running in the background and a dog that's probably going to bark when the mailman comes. So I've put together this 5-step process, and this is based on me doing ghostwriting projects, writing for clients, writing for blogs for the past 3 years. In one of those years, I actually wrote 237 blog posts for other people. So based on that knowledge, I've developed this process. So step 1 is brainstorming. Brainstorming what to write about, figuring out what the best topics are to write about. The next step is looking at the structure of your blog post, what pieces you need in that specific blog post. Writing your blog, you need to write it. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a few minutes. You need to publish your article on whatever platform you use. I'll give some suggestions for that today as well if you're looking for a blogging platform. And the 5th is to socialize it and to recycle your content. I always tell people that even the best, most well-written blogs written by me will do no good if no one knows it exists. It's that know factor. People need to know you exist. If they don't know you have a blog, how can they visit it? How can they read it? So today I'm going to share at a very high level each of these. We have some key takeaways for each of these steps to give you a start in your blogging adventures today. So let's get right into blogging. Brainstorming. I find a lot of entrepreneurs, we get lost in our heads sometimes. We're very creative people. We have all these ideas, all this knowledge, but how do you figure out which ones are going to make the best blog post? So here are a couple of tips for developing topics. You can develop topics based on keywords. If you've ever worked with a marketing agency or an SEO agency, they may have done some keyword research for you. Look at that and see if there's any ideas and topics that come up. If not, excuse me. If not, go to Google and start typing in words related to your industry and see what ideas they come up with for you. Frequently asked questions. I can't tell you how many times I get asked, how long should a blog post be? How frequently should I blog? And we'll talk about that today as well. Questions like that, I'm sure you get them all the time. People asking you the same question, you're giving them the same answer over and over again, and it just gets so boring to say the same thing, and it comes out in your voice, and no one wants to hear you talk like this. So if you have those questions, why a blog post about it? You can write down all your information, and then next time someone asks you, hey, Ashley, how long should that blog post be? You can say, oh, about this many words, but check out this blog post for more information about it. Simple. The next one is you can do some stalking. Now, please do not do anything illegal. I'm not condoning any illegal actions here. You could call this competitive research if you'd like. I like stalking because it's a little more exciting to say and it's a little more mysterious. But essentially this is looking at what your competitors, what other people in your industry are writing about, and write about similar topics, but just add your own perspective on top of it. If you have a social media following or current clients and customers, ask them what they want to know about your industry, about what you do, about your business. They might have some great ideas. I've done that before, and then the latest blog post I have on my website was based on some feedback that I got from a business colleague of mine. So just ask. People love to share their opinions with you, right? So why not give them an opportunity? Templates. You can download or do a Google search. I've got some resources as well that I can share with you. Formulas of blog posts you might notice. It's the best ways to do something. 5 things you need to know about this. So you can do a Google search for blog title templates and you'll come up with so many. And then you just fill in the blanks based on your industry. Customize the title based on what you want to talk about. Also think about these kind of questions. What, how, why, and best. So a few years ago when I was looking to buy a new car, we had a daughter on the way, we needed a bigger car. I wasn't going to go to Google and type in new car. That wouldn't have gotten me what I needed to. I went into Google and typed in, what is the best family SUV? And I came up with the vehicle that we ended up coming up with. So think about what kind of questions people are going to be asking when they're looking for your type of business, and use that question as your blog topic, as your blog title. Freebie that I've got on my website, if anyone wants, they can touch base with me later. 32 awesome blog headline formulas that I was talking about before. So I want to share just one tool that is actually a lot of fun to develop topics. It's called answerthepublic.com. When you go to this website, I just want to give you a word of caution. When you open up the website, it's this big black screen and there's this animated video of this man on the front. And he's moving a little and then he kind of leers in and then he leans back. And then it looks like he's about to say something to you and then he doesn't. I don't know if it's just me, but I find it a little creepy that he's kind of just staring at me through the computer screen. If it freaks you out, just scroll a little bit below there until you see the search bar. That's what you need. Ignore the creepy man in the front if it creeps you out, just go to the search bar. And when you get to the search bar, you type in a word related to your business. And it will come up with a bunch of little charts like this. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can just sort of see. It's a bit blurry because it's a screenshot. But here, there's so many blog topics right here. Why blogging is important. Why blogging matters. Why blogging is needed. Why blogging is important in marketing. These will give you some amazing ideas. I gave this tool to one of my clients for her business, and she runs a bookkeeping and financial services company. And she got over 475 blog post titles. So she jokes with me now that she has no excuse for not knowing what to write about based on just this one tool. And this is just one tool of a million. There are lots more out there that I can share, but this is probably one of my favorites right now. Okay, so let's go into blogging structure. Very high level of what should be included in every blog post. Graphics and imagery. If you're starting out or you don't have your own library of, product images, personal headshots, things like that, there are a bunch of sites that you can go to get free stock photos. So write some of these down. These are some of my favorites. Unsplash, MaxPixel, Pixabay, and RawPixel. And Pexler. I have to remember what that one was. But these are free to use for commercial use. So you can use them in any of your marketing materials as much as you want. And you don't necessarily have to write that credit line in the bottom who the photographer was. If you can, that's great and they appreciate it, but it's not required. So it's really great to get pictures for your blog. When you download the pictures, you may want to do a little bit of editing of them to make sure that they are on brand, throw your logo on it, throw a filter on it. And these are just some of the tools. I'm not going to go through all the tools today. That's another topic for another day, but these are some of my favorite tools. If you have little to no experience, or even Photoshop if you do have some design experience. Canva is probably the best one. And I'm sure many of you have heard of it before. It's free, it's easy to use. Okay, so I want to talk about the key points in every blog post that essentially 99% of all your blog posts are going to need. So this will be very important to write down. The first one, the big blue box at the top, that's your image. It's usually best to be right across the top like that, or about half width and right aligned so that the text kind of wraps around it. Always have at least one image for your site, or for your blog post, sorry. Next thing obviously is your headline. I'm going to share some headline tips in a little bit as well. And then your lead, your first sentence, your first paragraph. It should be something that is exciting, startling, that pulls the reader in. So share, a startling fact, an amazing result, just something to grab their attention and make them want to read more. Now, this next one, I really want to make sure everyone writes this line down because this is what I find a lot of blogs are missing, and it is super important. An expectations line. This can be as simple as, here are the 5 ways to do this. I want to know as a reader what to expect in this blog post. So if you have 3 ways to do this, or if you're just saying, here is my process for blogging, just give them some kind of line so they know what to expect. Are they going to be reading, 3 points? It'll be a couple page scrolls, or you have 100 tips and maybe it's a longer article. Just set up those expectations and it will make a world of difference to the blog post that you write. And then of course, there's the body content, the juice, that highly valuable, not salesy content that you want to share. At the end, obviously, give it a quick summary, key points, key takeaways, whatever that might be. And then the last one that every blog post should have in some form or another is a call to action. A call to action that is a clickable hyperlink to something of yours, whether that's a blog post on a similar topic, whether that's subscribe to my Facebook, subscribe to my newsletter, book a consultation with me, buy this product I talked about, give them somewhere to click. So while we're talking about the anatomy, I want to go over a question that I get, and I think Alpna gets all the time, is how long should my blog articles be and how often should I be writing them? So Alpna, I'll get you to chime in on what you think works for you and for the Women's Enterprise Center. What I think is the SEO experts will tell you that every blog post needs to be 2,000 words. And that is ridiculous. It is ridiculous for most of us. It's not sustainable. Yes, it's great for SEO, but it's not great for, most of us here. So I always recommend 500 words. And if you break it up, 500 words, you have 100 words for your intro, 100 words for your conclusion, your call to action, and then 300 words for your body. So if your article was 3 tips, each tip is 100 words. So that's usually what I suggest for that. Alpina, did you want to quickly jump on and share, what lengths you're seeing in blog posts?
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, you're right. We get asked that question many times. So for Women's Enterprise Center, what we have done, we have got a format. So we usually ask our blog writers to write a blog of approximately between 350 to 400 words. So, yeah, and it keeps the blog concise, very precise, and we have a format. So it's not that one blog is 200 words and another one is 700 words. So it totally depends on the writer. For small businesses, if you are a marketing team of 1, then you have to find out how much time you can allocate, because when you're writing a blog, even 350 words is a lot, right? And you have this great anatomy of a blog post, Ashley. And so every section needs time, because you don't want to publish low quality content. You don't want too many such posts. You need to have good quality. So it depends on the writer, what you want, how much time you can allocate. But I agree with you, Ashley, like 500 words is a good number. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Some people might have, like, you're not writing a thesis when you're writing a blog. So be very precise, have interesting content, and decide on how many words you're going to be writing, and be consistent with that format.
Yeah, that's some good insight. Mm-hmm. Consistency is important as possible. Mm-hmm. But of course, if you're inspired to write 2,000 words one day, go ahead and write 2,000 words. Nobody is going to stop you, right? Yeah. But don't feel obligated, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, Mm-hmm. And, even if you want to do this for a 350 word mm-hmm. article, I find it really helpful to break down that word count. Mm-hmm. My intro is going to be so many words, my outro, and just, divide that by what your words are. And that is a great writing tip for any, know your word count and then sort of break it up.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for sharing those. That's some good insight as well.
And Ashley, if I could just jump in before we move on, there is a question. Should
mm-hmm.
you write a longer blog post every so often, or always keep it to 500?
I would say do what feels right for you. There is no wrong answer.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure that you're getting consistency, like consistent posting every, once a month, every 2 weeks. 2 weeks is usually what I recommend as a minimum if you can. There's no problem. If you're inspired one day to write 2,000 words, do it. Yeah. If you're able to write 2,000 words every week, do it. That's amazing if you can do that. Mm-hmm. Just try to keep it as consistent as possible. But if you need to throw in a really juicy piece, throw in that really juicy 2,000 word piece.
Great.
That was a great question. Yeah, thank you. So speaking of writing, let's talk about writing. So I kind of shared a little bit of a tip about writer's block earlier. If you don't know, take the total word count and then divide it up by the number of sections. But I've got some other tips to overcoming writer's block if you find that, you struggle with actually getting down and writing like that. Those first few words, even for me, and I've been writing professionally for 14 years. Those first words, that first sentence is so hard to get down. But here is a great process that you can use. So write down these steps. First thing is I want you to set your stage, your physical stage around you. So when I get down to write, I need to have my water bottle next to me, or my coffee, my tea, whatever I'm drinking that day. I need to have maybe my fan on if it's a bit warmer of a day. My computer needs to be here. My chair needs to be just right. My backrest needs to be up. I just have a way that I need to write. So figure out what that is for you and set your physical stage. The next thing is to start by writing an outline of what you want to do. So that outline that I shared with you earlier, that could be your outline. Write down what you think you could be your lead, what startling facts you could start with. What are your 3 main points you're going to talk about? And what call to action are you going to include? So if you write an outline like that, when you actually get down to the writing of it, you have some structure for your brain to work with. And I find a lot of people work well with that. If that doesn't work for you, you've done that and you're still struggling getting those first few words out there, I'm going to share something here. Number 3 is create a puke draft. Now, I say this because I have kids, I deal with puke a lot, but it's essentially stream of conscious writing. So you're probably familiar with that. Stream of consciousness writing is where you just set a timer and you write. You just write, whatever comes to your head. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about spelling, structure, nothing. If your grocery list ends up on the page, write it. You know, we need our grocery list written down too. The whole point is to just keep on writing, keep on writing, keep on writing. That will help you get ideas that are maybe in the back of your head, get them out on the paper. But it's a great way to get started if you just, you just don't know where to start. Just write whatever is in your head, just write it all down. After you've done that puke draft, you've organized it. I always suggest for every piece you write that you take a timeout. So here's the mom and me coming back. Take a timeout. Get some distance from what you're writing, because I know for me, my brain works a heck of a lot faster than I type. So I may see a word in my head, but it may not actually come out. So I may miss words here and there, and spell check may not notice those missing words. But if you take some distance, go fill up your water, fill up feed, take the dog for a walk, go to bed, check it again tomorrow, and read it really slowly back to yourself, you may have a higher chance of finding those little words that you missed or thoughts that you didn't quite complete fully. So taking that time out is a great way before you publish things. Okay, I told you I'll give you some tips for great headlines, for great blog titles. These can also apply if you're doing podcasts, if you're doing a lead magnet, which is like a freebie that you'll give people on your sites. The 7 tips I'm going to give you right now are my best ones for blogs. So write each of these down. And if you can include all of these in one headline, you are probably going to be golden. You have a chance to make that viral headline, viral in the good way, right now. So the first one is to use numbers or lists in your title. These are called listicles because they're lists. And we see those all the time on Facebook, on Twitter. 5 ways to do this. 10 things you need to know about this. 5 ways to attract your ideal partner today. Things like that with numbers. We know that numbers, our minds are attracted to that because it's unique amongst all of the letters and the words. So we're attracted to numbers, so we're more likely to stop scrolling and actually stop and read that article. The great headlines also appeal to emotions. There are, various emotional words that you can use to get people invested. When people are emotionally invested in something, they will believe anything you say. So appeal to those emotions as much as you can. I'll give you an example of that as well. Use urgency. So I don't know about you, but on my Facebook, I have bookmarked so many posts and links. I never go back to them. They never gave me a reason to read it right now. So I'll show you an example of how this works in just a moment. The great blog headlines also embellish a little bit, but don't oversell. You can say, here are 5 ways to grow your business 10 times, which is possible. If your solution can grow business 10 times, that's great. But don't go saying you're going to be a millionaire overnight with this, unless you really can make them a millionaire. And if you can, I want to know what that process is, because I would love to be a millionaire tomorrow. So embellish a little bit, but don't oversell, because people, their shit meters they're really attuned right now. They'll know if you're just trying to sell them or trying to oversell. In your blog headlines, use second person. So say you. 5 things you need to know about this. And in terms of length, try to stick to no more than 70 characters. And the reason I say this is because Google will only show about 60 to 70 characters in the headline. And you don't want some juicy content to be cut off. So keep it under 60, 70 characters. And that's not words, that's characters, including spaces. So if you include all of these 7 things, you have a really great chance to have a good headline. And here's an example that includes every single one of these. It's a very basic example, but it gets the job done. 5 powerful ways blogging can 10 times your influence and business this year. So you notice I've got 5 powerful ways. I'm appealing to emotions because that word influence, it evokes a bit of an emotional response in people. Urgency, I've said this year. I could say, this month or, this quarter, that's a bit of an oversell. So I said this year. I embellished a little bit. I said 10 times. It is entirely possible to 10 times your business through blogging, through content marketing. It's not an oversell. It is possible. I've used second person, your influence, your, and this is, I think, give or take 1 or 2 characters, exactly 70 characters. So this is sort of that textbook, perfect blog headline that has all of the elements that you need in it. So in my full blogging workshops, I have lots of slides and we talk about words in a little more detail. But here I want to share a couple of power words. These are words that if you include them in your headline, it helps evoke those emotional responses as well. And obviously not all of these will work for your business. The word magic may not really apply to your brand. Absolutely or amazing doesn't work for every brand. I use amazing in my brand, so it works. Just make sure that whatever power words you're using are still authentic to who you are and your brand. So throw throw one of these in your blog headline and your help. Just boost it just a little bit more. So search engine optimization. I want to cover it at a very, very high level today. I think there was actually the workshop last week was on search engine optimization. But I want to give just a couple of really actionable things, how you can use keywords in your blog post to help it get noticed on Google. So picking the keyword, I won't go into this. This is a whole process, but once you have a keyword that you want to optimize your post for, you use it 2 or 3 times in the body, as natural as possible. In your page title, so your headline. If you're able to customize the URL, use it there. In the meta title and description, that's what will show up on Google as that title and description. And in any alt text, so that if an image doesn't show up on a page, that's that text that shows up. So this is, a whole topic in itself. I can't go into more detail today. We just don't have enough time, unfortunately. But this is a very high level. Look for more courses and more ways to up your SEO game if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, step 4 is the actual publishing. Now, because all of us will be using different blogging tools, I'm not going to give a tutorial on how to use those, but I'm going to share some tools that will help make publishing easier. And these are tools that I've used. So my favorite blogging platform, blogging CMS, is WordPress. If you're on Wix, if you're on Squarespace, that's totally fine. But if you're willing to invest, and it's not much, to get a custom-made WordPress site done and hosted, that's your best long-term. It's best for SEO and for a myriad of reasons. Look at some cloud storage opportunities. That way, especially now with all of us working in locations, we can share content with our team. If you ever hire, a ghostwriter or an editor or somebody, a virtual assistant, you have everything stored on that virtual drive for everyone to access. Grammarly is a great tool to help you catch a little bit more of those grammar and spelling errors. There's a free version that works pretty well. Always make sure that you have analytics installed on your website in some form or another. This is something I teach in a little more detail in my courses, what you should be tracking, but make sure you're tracking things like how many people are visiting your blog, how long they're visiting the site, etc. If you written a headline, you want to sort of test it out, look up CoScheduler Headline Analyzer on Google. And you put in your headline and it will give it a ranking and tell you where you can improve it. So it's a great tool. Another tool, which we'll talk about shortly as well, is about marketing. And you should be having an email marketing list. So if anyone on the call today does not already have, MailChimp, Constant Contact, something for email marketing, get it now and start collecting email addresses because that will be very important for your business going forward. I use MailChimp for my business. There's many options that you can use as well. When we talk about marketing, we're going to talk about how to promote your blog. And one of the best ways, obviously, is media. And I like to pre-schedule a lot of my blog posts to just kind of go live. So use sites like Hootsuite, Buffer, Later, whatever that might be. And in terms of graphics, I talked about this earlier, so I won't go into detail. Make sure you use some kind of graphics editing, resizing software like Canva or Photoshop. Okay, so very briefly, I'm going to go into how to promote your blog. So you've written it, you've published it, now you need to let the world know that you exist. So sharing on social media. Some blog platforms will allow you to sort of auto share, auto post every time you have a new blog post up. So use that functionality, customize it, and make it work for you. Pre-schedule blog posts. So pre-write 2 or 3, and then use a site like Hootsuite, Later, Buffer to pre-schedule those posts to promote your blog for, the next week, couple months, year even. Also have a couple social media posts for your back pocket, I like to say. So as you're scrolling through Facebook and your Facebook groups and someone says, I need help, I don't know how often I should be blogging, blah, blah, blah. You can have that post ready to go. You just copy and paste it and say, hey, I know the answer. It's this, read my blog post. It's very simple. Also know what days you can share and promote your blog in groups, because you can't always share and promote your blog on business groups all the time. So make sure that you're not spamming people. So now I'm going to share a very high-level overview of a really great marketing strategy to use for your blog. It is easy, it is efficient, and it will allow you to multiply your content like cute little bunnies. I could not resist this photo. This photo, totally off my brand, but I cannot resist that cute little bunny. It is very cute, but it gets my point across. I'm going to show you how to multiply your blog content like bunnies, and that's through recycling or repurposing your blogs. So this is essentially at a very high level when you take your blog post and you turn it into other formats. You turn it into social media posts, into PDF downloads, into podcasts, whatever that might be. And when you're able to do this, you can get more clients and customers because you're creating content in the format that they want to read or that they want to listen to, because not everyone wants to read a blog post. Some people want to watch YouTube. So you're creating content for everybody. You're also more productive because you're not creating 10 individual pieces of content. You're creating one and parsing it out and creating 9 other pieces. It's so much more efficient and faster to produce a lot of content that way. It'll help you build up email subscribers as well if you turn any of this into like a lead magnet where people have to enter in their email address before they download. That is a whole thing in itself, lead magnet, something that I teach. So won't go into that too much today, but you can build your email list and you want to for your business. It can help you a higher Google ranking because you have more content out there in the world that could potentially show up on Google. The more sites you have linking to your main site, the higher Google will rank you because Google starts to see you as that expert, as that influencer. So if you write one blog post, that is amazing and I'm so happy for you. You could reach this many people. They look pretty fun, but this is only maybe half a dozen people. When you're repurposing it into all these other formats, you could reach all of these people in this entire stadium. The visual learners, the audio learners, the ones that want to read, the ones that need to interact with it with a worksheet. You can reach all of these people. Your brand can reach all of these people and your brand message can be seen by all of these people. I'm going to very briefly share a couple of repurposing, recycling case studies. So Buffer is a social media scheduling tool. They have their blog and they decided for a whole month that they're going to post nothing new. No new content for an entire month. They were just going to take what they've already done and repurpose it into different formats. And by doing that, they increased their visits by 4% by people from Google. And 4% of, hundreds of thousands of the Buffer audience is a lot by just reusing what they already had. Here's an SEO expert from the UK. He did a similar thing on LinkedIn. No new content for a month, just repurposed what he had. And that got him 300 new email subscribers and 76% of them converted into a paying customer or into their programs. Now, 76% conversion rate is so high because the average conversion rate across all industries, across the whole world is only 2%. And by reusing what he'd done, he got 76%. I would love a 76% conversion rate in my business, and I'm sure you would as well. That's an amazing return on your investment. So I always throw these two in because I am a bit of a self-proclaimed Disney freak. I love Disneyland, and they repurpose content all the time. So they've created characters like Winnie the Pooh, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and they've turned those into a theme park, into multiple books and movies and characters and merchandise, all from that one idea. They didn't have to create new stories every time or new universes every time. You know, the Marvel universe, that's one universe and everything just fits inside of it. It's amazing. They do an amazing job. So let me bring this back to marketing your business and your blog. And I'm going to show you a very basic, very simple way that you can repurpose your content right now. So you have published your blog post. That's the little WordPress logo. After it's published, you share it a couple times on social media. And then you share it in your email newsletter. That's repurposing right there at a very basic, very simple level that everyone here can do. And a lot of this can be automated. You can use, there's a site called Zapier, Zapier, that you can help connect certain apps like this to do it automatically. WordPress might do it automatically. Wix might do it automatically. This is very simple. I also teach a more complex structure where you create a lot of other different types in, but that's going to be too overwhelming for right now. But this sort of gives you an idea. So let me briefly sum up a couple of things, and then I want to share something really exciting that I've got going on that I think you're really going to enjoy. So I've shared a lot. I know I've talked a million miles a minute, but I hope you've been taking some great notes. I've only scratched the surface, but here are 3 things that I really want you to take away from what we talked about today. Blogging will help you become that niche expert, that know, like, and trust. Blogging can be easy if you plan ahead, if you create that content plan, that blogging plan to move forward. And if you recycle your content, you're able to get more from less. You can turn one piece of content into 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 or more different touch points with your audience. So right now, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine that you now have the skills and the confidence to be creating more content in your business. Imagine people are coming to you for a change, to hire you, and you are being seen as the expert in your niche. So you are almost there right now. You are so close, but there is still more to learn. There is still more to practice, and blogging is one of the ways to do that. What I'd like to offer everybody today is my free gift. So I shared a couple of free tools earlier today. Here are a few more. These are my tried and tested tools that I have personally tried or that colleagues of mine have tried and that we recommend. It's not an exhaustive list, but it provides some of my favorite. And most of them are free tools, or the free version is more than enough to get you by for quite a while. But if you are as fired up about blogging and about getting to become that niche expert, if you just want to keep going right now, if you want to be promoting your business right now through content marketing, I have an amazing, super special offer that I'm so excited to share with you right now. So I don't know about you, but I love being challenged. I love learning. And I've created something called the Caffeinated Content Challenge. It is a 5-week course, mastermind challenge. And here's what comes in this challenge. We do 5 weeks of Zoom calls. Each week there's a different theme. We pick a different content marketing format like blogging, lead magnets, email marketing, social media. I give you a mini lesson on that topic, and then I give you a challenge. I tell you to go away and create for your business what we just did. You also get mini masterminding time. I've got people in my program that they ask questions in the group and they're able to help each other out, get that peer support, peer review, which is amazing. The value, you get one-on-one support with me as well. You get unlimited email support from me if you have questions how to customize it. I had some people we're doing a group right now and they said, You are really the person I would love to work with more. I love your insight. I love your business sense and your work ethics. And that was from a kids bookstore owner in Port Moody. And another person who's in the course right now has said, I've taken a lot of courses, but I got something out of every single session. And I thank you for that. And that's a professional photo organizer from New Orleans. So it's an amazing program. You're going to learn so much. You're going to make some great connections. And I have the next group starting on May 25th. So that's in just over a week. If you want to join the group, I invite you. I think you'll learn so much. It's just like this. We have fun. I usually have coffee. I'm a little bit caffeinated. But I'm offering this right now for only $37. As a bonus, if you're able to register today, which is the 14th of May, I'm going to give you free access to my Blogging Made Easy mini course, which is like today, but I expand on a lot of these topics that we've already covered. So I will give that for you for free if you register today, and then email me at writergal.ca. I'm also going to throw in special bonus for the first 2 people that register and then send me an email. The first 2 people who register and send me an email for this program will get a free 20-minute consultation with me to talk about anything content marketing or writing for their business. It's super valuable. We're able to solve problems with your Facebook page, whatever that is. It's one-on-one, you and me, for 20 minutes. So now again, go back and imagine you've taken this course. You are up-leveling your skills. You are creating valuable content now for your clients. You are being seen as that expert in your niche. And those clients are coming into your lap. You don't have to be pitching to everybody all the time. It's an amazing feeling, and I really want you to experience that. So don't forget to register and then do email me so I know that you've come from this webinar today. I really hope that you've got some good tidbits. I hope you took some great notes today. This is just the surface. This is just the beginning of how you can use this. And I'm so excited to help you to answer your questions, to be here to help you use this process for your business and to help you apply it to your business. So I think that is it. Unless there's anything from you, Danielle, maybe we can open it up and I can answer some questions.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I learned a lot and I'm seeing lots of questions coming in. So let's run through some of them right now. So there was a question about the headlines. Should you use the number 5 or type out the word 5, for example? You
use the number 5.
Okay, perfect.
Normally when you're writing 1 to 9, you will spell out, but in headlines, you want it to be, you want it to attract them. You want it to stand out from all those letters and words. So use the number, the actual numerical number in headlines. Good question.
Okay. What about this one from Karen? Do you suggest a separate blog site from your regular website, or can blogs be done within your current website?
Ideally, do it within your current website. Make your, your blog, your contact, your services, how they buy from you, make it all one website. It's better for SEO because you're driving everyone to that one URL. And it's easier too, because everyone knows exactly where to go for your content, for your courses to buy from you. You want to be the path of least resistance, make it as easy as possible for those people to start falling in your lap. So yeah, definitely same site if at all possible.
Okay. Here's one about the structure. Can you elaborate more on the expectations in structure? I can only think of using it for listicles. I like how you use the word listicle in there. How would you use it for non-list articles?
Yeah, so if it was an article that was, you're sharing a story, a story about a client's success, for example, and say, and here is the story of my client's success in this. It doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to overthink it. Just give an expectation, but what's going to be underneath. Here is the story. Here are the 5 ways. Here's the process that I use to blah, blah, blah. Just keep it as simple as possible, but do have that line in there.
Right.
That's a good one.
Okay. Alpana, maybe I'll ask this one to you. There's a couple of you asking about frequency of publishing blogs. So Alpana, how often at Women's Enterprise Center do we post new blog content?
Definitely twice a month. But like I mentioned earlier, it totally depends on how much time you can allocate. If you have a person dedicated towards marketing, then maybe you can do more than that. Maybe you can do once a week. But it totally depends on how much time, what marketing resources you have. We used to do once a week, but currently we are doing twice a month for sure on our website.
Mm-hmm.
So look at your resources. That's what I would advise. Look at your resources. Look at how much time you have, because writing, even if it is like 300 words or 250 words, it does take time. As I mentioned, you don't want low quality content, which is not good for your business brand. You really need good quality content, interesting content, and that will take time to draft, even if it is like 300 words, 400 words. So look at how much time you have and then decide and be consistent with that.
Yeah, I like what you said about consistency. That is definitely key. You know, if consistency once, that's great. Like I said, I recommend 2 times per month as a great, you know, average. But if you blogging weekly is probably the best thing you could do. But I know it's not manageable, so I'm not going to go tell anyone to do that. Twice a month is manageable in those 300 to 500 words that we're talking about. Yeah, I agree.
Great. Okay, we'll do one more question and then we'll do a wrap up here. I'm looking at the time. We're almost at 11. So how do we attribute information from articles and books that we may include on our blog?
Yes, I like this question. Okay, so blogging is a little bit different than if you're doing like a term paper or a more technical resource. If you are, you know, quoting somebody, definitely give a link back to what their, you know, where the site was. It doesn't have to be a formal, you know, AP style attribution, as long as it's a hyperlink or just say, you know, from so-and-so's book, this is the title. Use that if you're specifically quoting anybody. And if you're quoting them, use the quotes so we know that it's not your content. Or even if you're just saying, you know, this idea was from this course I took with Ashley at the Women's Enterprise Center, you know, link back to Women's Enterprise Center and me. Make sure you do attribute it, but you don't have to be as technical as you would maybe a thesis. Just make sure you got a link, or at least you say the name of where that information came from. Hopefully that answers the question.
And also I would like to add to Ashley, what you mentioned is that speaking from our experience with Women's Enterprise Center blog, keep it conversational. Don't like have like too many jargons or very technical, unless it's a very technical website. Keep it very, very conversational. So, you know, anyone can read it. That's
an amazing point. You know, it's not you're not writing a brochure.
Yeah.
You're not writing your About Us page. This is where you can shine as a person too.
Yeah.
You know, when I write my blogs, I let my personality throw in there. I throw in some weird words that I use. I throw in the word awesome. I might not throw in the word awesome in my marketing materials, but your blog is a little more relaxed. Yeah, I like that. That's some good. Yeah, definitely.
Great. Thank you so much. Can you see my screen here? Am I sharing it properly?
We can.
Okay,
yes.
Great. So thank you so much, Ashley and Alpana. I learned so much today, and I really see you both as experts. And I know that just reading from the comments, our clients are really appreciative of your time volunteering, and I think you are providing an amazing opportunity. So I encourage everyone to check out Ashley's program. We will be following up with an email with all those who registered. And so if you had one of those questions that you didn't get to, that would be a great time to interact with Ashley in that way. I want to share with you some really exciting webinars that we have coming up. You can see them on the screen here. May 19th, we've got a great session around how to use Zoom and how to make the most out of that platform. There's one on March, pardon me, that's May 28th. We'll have to update that date. So it's actually been moved because originally we had this webinar on March 26th for growth opportunities for Indigenous business owners. But then after COVID and everything happened, there's actually new programs. So we've pushed that date, and that is happening on May 28th. So if you are an Indigenous entrepreneur, I highly recommend taking this webinar and learning about those programs available. And then also we've got a social media focused webinar on June 10th. So you can apply what you've learned today. Say you've written a couple blogs, how can you make the most out of those posts that you've done? All right, and that's a wrap for us. Thank you so much, everyone, from joining around the province. I hope you gained some valuable information today. I encourage you to check back with womensenterprise.ca for more resources and support for you and your business. Thank you again to Ashley and Alpina for being fantastic panelists today. And we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar.
And Danielle, can I just squeeze in one comment?
Yes.
So we at Women's Enterprise Center are always looking for blog writers from women entrepreneurs. So if you are interested in being a guest blogger for Women's Enterprise Center, definitely reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Perfect.
Ashley has written a wonderful blog for us, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can answer. I know I wasn't able to answer everyone's questions. I saw a couple there that I can answer for you. So please email me, check out my website, and I can answer those for you. I'd be happy to.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, so I have 11:01. I'm going to stop the recording, but if there are some, do you mind, Ashley, staying on for a couple more questions?
Yeah, for sure, I can do that.
Okay. So there are just a few I want to get to. Okay. Can you pre-schedule a blog embedded on a website or only a separate blog site? I use Hootsuite.
If they're talking about, yeah, I think I know if you're talking about scheduling the actual blog or the social media posts, because the blogs, yes, most platforms will allow you to schedule. I know WordPress does, Wix, I believe, does not, unless they've changed it. In terms of that, so yes, you can schedule when blog post goes live. So you can upload all your content, once a month and say on the 15th, I want this to go live, that's fine. In terms of social media scheduling, if that's what they meant, yeah, use a site like Hootsuite or Buffer for that. You may be able to get like an extension or a plugin for your website that will do it automatically. I know a lot of platforms will do that. You'll have to look specifically at your platform. If the person's still online, they can email me and I can, answer that in a little more detail, but based on their situation.
Great. Okay. And we'll do one more question to wrap it up. Should I keep my blog simple or to make it easier to read?
Always make it easy to read.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if it's not easy to read, no one's going to read it.
Yeah.
You really have to do what feels right, what your audience wants. If you are, say, in the legal profession, your writing style will be a little bit different, maybe a little more high level. But if you're, a copywriter or a coach or an essential oils rep, you're going to want to make it a little more simpler because that's what your audiences want. There's some tools online that you can use to see how complicated your writing is, and it gives it like a grade level. If you can find one of those, you want to aim for maybe a grade 5 reading level. That's the average that most people will be able to understand for most audiences. But yeah, just keep it simple, provide value, and make it easy to read, and then that's what you need. You're golden.
Perfect. All right. So any further questions, we really encourage you to connect with Ashley, try out her program. And thank you again to everyone for joining us today. I wish you all the best with your businesses and look forward to connecting with you again shortly.
Thank you, Danielle. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah. Bye for now.